Hello there. In this video, we're going to continue looking at Flash Catalyst. Now, one of the things that's very common when I'm working with a wireframe is that my client or other people in my design team are undoubtedly going to want to make changes. That's one of the most valuable parts about a wireframe, that I can make design changes at the project at this point before I've migrated my design to its full visual fidelity. What we're going to cover in this video is how I can integrate all those design changes that are going to be a natural part of the design process into Flash Catalyst, and how those changes won't require me to refactor or redesign my entire project from scratch. So in this case, I have my same project from the last video. And let's just pretend that my client has come back to me and has said, you know what, Doug? I love the design of this, but I don't like the navigation at the bottom of the page. I really want that more visible, but let's actually move the navigation up to the top. Now, in the past, I'd have to smile and say, yeah, that's great, okay, and then I'd go back to my desk and kind of grumble, and then have to start over from scratch in a lot of ways. But Flash Catalyst makes that a lot easier for me. So let's go down to the bottom, and I'm going to hide my timelines panel at the bottom here so we can focus on the design here. Now, if you remember, the request from my client is that I want to move those buttons, Welcome, Eat, and Watch, up here to the top of the page. So I actually can take these buttons and I can move them up here to the top. Okay, so I've moved them up here to the top. Now, when I've done that, it's done on this particular state of the application, in this case, the welcome state. If I click on Make Same in All Other States, it will then take that change that I've done on this particular page and replicate that on all the other pages. So if I go to the Eat state, you'll see those buttons are now also on the top of that page, as well as on the Watch page. Now, with those buttons now up there, it's obviously a little bit too big for those particular buttons. So let's actually take a look at how we can modify that. So I'm actually just going to display the library panel, because if you remember, all these particular buttons that we've created here, they're part of the wireframe components that we dragged out. I'm going to double-click into this. You'll notice that when I double-click into a wireframe component, it's going to revert it back to its natural wireframe state. So what we need to do now is actually redesign this particular button. I want you to pay close attention to the right-hand side, because in the library panel, as soon as I double-clicked into that button, it created a new component. When you bring a wireframe component out from the wireframe panel and you quickly use that to create a user interface, it doesn't create a component type inside of the library panel. It's because we haven't defined any specific design elements for this yet. So it's actually using the built-in component set without having to create any unique components in the library panel. What we're going to do is use this new library item to define the unique button that we're going to be creating and how we actually want the look across the three buttons at the top of our page. So I have this graphic now in the back. I'm going to resize this a little bit. So to resize it, I can click on the handles, or I can actually do that numerically by modifying the width and height. I'm going to actually do that down here and select that the width is going to be 100 pixels and the height I'm going to make 50. That's a little bit too tall. Let's make that 30 instead. Okay. I'm going to take my welcome text. I'm going to move that down here. And my client also said that they want that aligned to the left. So I'm going to redesign that particular button. I'm going to use the arrow keys just to position that the way that I want to. Okay. So now I've modified those particular pieces. So I'm going to take this text and then do the same thing that I did last time, which was make same in all other states. I'm going to take that background and also make same in other states. So now I have my up, over, my down, and disabled. They all look the same now. My overstate, I'm going to make this, I'm just going to quickly just have an overstate to make that look a little bit different when I'm in over. So I'm going to change the fill to be, let's just pick this, let's pick a look different blue. Let's pick that blue. Okay, so now I have my up, my over, my down, and my disabled states created. Okay, so I'm going to go back outside of my application. So I have my welcome button now created here. You'll notice that it did preserve the label that was part of the original button, so I can still define the label uniquely for that instance. So I'm going to take both of these two buttons, I'm going to delete them. I'm going to take my button that I just finished creating, my welcome button, and then position that right there. Okay, I need to recreate those two buttons that I just removed based on the new design that I've applied here. So now I'm going to drag out a duplicate of that button that I just finished designing from the library panel. You notice that by default it names the object button 1. Let's actually give that a unique name so that when we hand this off to the developer, they'll know exactly what it is based on the name. So let's call this navigation button. Okay, from here I can then drag from the library an instance of the navigation button and then give that a unique label. And then I can drag out another one, and we'll call that one watch. Let's quickly just align all these. And I'll just visually, there we go. And we reposition them so that now we have those same three buttons. Using Flash Catalyst, I can then continually make updates based on my design team or also on my client. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this into the other CS5 tools in the next video. We're going to show how I can take designs that are wireframe designs inside of Flash Catalyst and migrate them to full fidelity design using Illustrator and Photoshop CS5.